So here we are with episode 6 of the Apothecary Diaries. Last episode, we were getting ready for the garden party, and now we are at the garden party, and definitely nothing bad will happen at all. No poisoning at any moment or at any given time, and we're just going to have a boring episode. If you guys like the video, like the video. If you dislike it, dislike it. I do have my full length up on Patreon and early access to non-seasonal shows and some seasonal, like this one, on the YouTube memberships. Other than that, let us get started. No sense of decency. Who? Oh, okay, it's not going to kill her. LISHU, I think that's her name, right? That expression on the Emperor. He is so bored. Empress. The Emperor and his younger brother. Who's not here? Of course, that's why he's, gotta gather as much children as possible. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, we're fighting out here! Whose lady-in-waiting are these? Ah, Liwa. Yeah, why y'all fighting? The PROXY war. Hell yeah, dude. Excuse me, you're fucking... Liwa would have died without her! You fucking fight him! Don't fucking hold her back! What, she had, like, low makeup on? Damn, fucking cab it down on her. Hey, don't hold her back! Oh? Oh no, the PTSD! Two months, God, they're just making up own stories about her. Just let them live. Another PROXY war. Virtuous and pure. Okay. The oldest and the youngest? What? The Empress is his mother. Okay. Wait. What? Uh-oh. Someone's a little pouty out here. Oh shit! Do a little L2? Oh shit! But she wore a dark pink. Or is she trying to compete? Let me touch her face. Or necklace, whichever one. Oh. You're supposed to ask! What is he why is he on his toes? A participation award. Liwa. Ooh, getting another one! Damn, dude, her hair is gonna be full of pins by the end of this. Look at her collecting pins like they're fucking scout badges. Stick them all in. Ah. Gaussian? Is that what it is? Oh. But who cares? Hold on. Finally. My favorite part. Honestly. Understandable. Well, you were... Oh. Because you've built up tolerance to it. You know, I've just had that. Well, not just had. I had that yesterday. Oh, someone is, oh, she does not like fish? Oh, dude, she just swallowed that. She didn't even chew it. I mean, if she doesn't like it. Can you look any less evil? It's really excitable. Understandable. Just watch these people. Oh, that one's got poison, huh? Damn, so sensual. It's to die for. Dazing out. Did he really wanted to try it? She just had some poison. Who was that stupid? Normal glitter is gone. He's serious, huh? He was banging. Well, he was getting banged, technically. He's serious about this, poisoning thing, huh? Mm-hmm. Was the other girl trying to poison LISHU? Oh, she allergic to fish? And her lady in waiting just spites her, so... This could potentially be life-threatening. I'm just over here like, look, Maomao could just go out and just slap more people. What you think was a mild prank could be a very deadly thing. Yeah, you dirty your hands, huh? You know, she just threw up. This place must have smelled. Target was Lady LISHU. Ah, oh, dude, I love that instrument. I was gonna say ancient China. It's an ancient instrument. Oldie. I think it's the like the one string that like you play like that. Oh, the mystery continues. Who did the poisoning? Oh shit! Why are we suddenly getting subtitles for the ending? All right. I'm gonna go write my notes, and we will be right back to the center. Okay, I was looking at this, and I was like, oh yeah, this looked like something I was just eating yesterday. But then I remember we're seeing the subtitles, and I was just like, wait a minute, fish and vegetables? And I'm like, where's the fish? But This is supposed to be LISHU's dish because she can't eat fish, but the other lady in waiting's just like, I'ma swap that bitch. It's jellyfish today. Ah, that's why she's just like, oh, that's interesting. So the yellow stuff, that's the jellyfish. Okay. Okay, that makes sense now. So that's why when she was running out, this lady is just like, oh shit! That was poison in her dish? Thank God I didn't get it, but also, oh shit! Alright, that makes sense. Alright, so that was episode 6 of the Apothecary Diaries. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below. You know that I always like talking to you guys, except for the times where I don't, so I guess it's not all... Alright, for me, I thought that this was a pretty good episode. I really enjoyed it, and I'm just gonna get right into it. No overall thoughts or anything. The first thing I want to talk about is the proxy war. Let's go, dude. Yinghua was out here ready to fucking fight. Let's go. She said last episode, it's fucking war out here. It's a goddamn social war. Or, as I wrote in my notes in the last episode, social events are war for women. They out here fighting with words, and I'm all down for it. As I said, don't fucking hold Yinhua back, let her at him. We need a vanguard in this situation, and Yinhua is that vanguard. I did wonder or assume that we were going to have, you know, a little bit of a word fight. That's what Yinhua was expecting, and we got it. I was very excited. You know what? It would have been better if we had some slap fights coming in as well, but this was the garden party, so, you know, we don't want to get into any physical altercations, which understandable, right? Ailan was just out here having to hold Yinhua back because, I mean, Yinhua was about to fucking go at him. I would assume that's why they were holding her back. But I got exactly what I wanted, so that was fun. And moving on, we are going to talk about the fucking Empress family line, right? Where this is Empress Dowager. Dowager. Maomao makes the point that she looks very youthful, and the reason why she looks youthful is because she gave birth at a very young age. And somebody was mentioning this back at some whatever episode when I was just, you know, just talking about how, like, oh, the Empress is out here spreading his seed, which, you know what? It's still true, but the reason for it goes to, and also what was more of a correction of like, oh, the Emperor didn't choose these people, right? People are offering up these ladies to the Emperor because of all the benefits that they're going to get. Which, I mean, I kind of mentioned that with like Gyogaku and whatever, you know, but anyways, so, you know, he doesn't choose all of these because, you know, which... I don't even, you know, whether it's him choosing it, it's not him choosing, whatever, you know, the people who are much more into the whole Chinese history know it better than me, which, you know what, I feel like if I haven't said it yet, you know, take everything I say with a fucking grain of salt. Or a pound of salt, honestly, at some point. Feel free to do research on your own, don't take my words for it. I just spout fucking bullshit. So, I literally just got lost in the sauce. I don't know where I was going. Oh yeah, the whole idea of the Emperor wanting to spread his seed all over the place is coming from the idea of, well, this is ancient times, right? Giving birth is still a dangerous thing here in the modern world, but it was even more dangerous, right? The mortality rate of giving birth. And then even when you are, if you survive the given birth or even the pregnancy, there's the chance of your baby fucking dying because the idea of medicine and all that isn't really all that advanced, as we saw with what happened in episode 1 with like the powder being poisoned and it being used on the prince. So like that's the big reason why the Emperor, who is in this power, would want to have as many women as possible in order to give birth to many children, because not a lot of them are going to survive. And so in that case, it's very understandable. And then with the idea of Empress Dowager giving birth to the emperor at a very young age, right? It's also an unfortunately an understandable thing, because I would assume the lifespan of these people are very short, and that's the big reason why there's a lot more birth happening at like the age of 12 or 14 or whatever, right? Because the lifespans of humans back then was probably around 35 or 45, and during those actually, you know, if it's 35, then like holy shit, Ado is just ancient at that point. But you know, the lifespan of humans were quite short, and now in the modern age, right, with modern technology and medicine, people are able to live a much longer life, right? And if they really take care of themselves, they're able to live into the triple digits. So there's that idea as well, and Jesus Christ. And continuing to speak about the whole family tree and all that, they make mention that Empress Dowager has two children, right? The current emperor and then his younger brother, who we are unable to see this episode because he is just too sick to leave his house. I believe Maomao make mention that she thought she saw him at some point. Hold on. Oh no, it's not Maomao. It was this other girl who why is it that I'm currently remembering Yinhua and Eilon? I remember Eilon pretty easily for some reason. Hold on, let me look at my notes. Guyon, that's her name. Yeah, Guyon make note that she thought that he was here until a few moments ago, but it seems like he left. Okay, yeah. Continue on with the not really family tree, but like the tree of the consorts, I suppose. We have the thought of Ado and LISHU, Ado being 35 and she's been here the longest, and LISHU is 14, and it said that she arrived later, which in Maomao's head was just like, okay, so, and bringing up the whole idea of they used to be mother and daughter-in-law, which is just like, what? Okay. But bringing that up, of course, Ado is, Maomao assumes that Ado is the mother-in-law, but then we find out that, well, LISHU is actually the mother-in-law, or used to be, of Ado, which is just like, what? But also, the idea of like, well, it's been 5 years, right? So she was 9 when she became a concubine, and it was just like, what? And you know, knowing that it's probably like her family offering her up to the emperor and all that, it's just like, what? Or as I wrote in my notes, a very long ah. But as Maomao come to realize, LISHU was actually the previous emperor's concubine, not the current emperor. And so that's why they said she arrived later, okay? Because she left because the previous emperor died, and then she came back, and now she's the current emperor's consort. Okay. Alright. And before I talk more about LISHU, I do want to talk about the whole hairpin collection. We see somebody getting a hairpin. Maomao is curious about it, and Yinhua says that given hairpin is how I don't know who they is specifically, but I assume like the higher up people or whatever, or just men, I guess. It's how they recruit talented workers hidden in this flower garden, which I'm just over here like, recruiting for what specifically? But Yinhua says there's also a hidden meaning, which Maomao does not give a shit about, or at the very least, she does not give enough of a shit to actually ask Yinhua, because Yinhua is just like, there's a hidden meaning, Maomao! Which, I kind of assume the hidden meaning is kind of like a romantic thing, but who knows, right? Maybe it's just a romanticized spiel. But as she leaves, she sees Lihaku, who gives Maomao a hairpin, and she realizes that this man is just stacked on hairpins. And her reasoning for this is that, oh, maybe he's just handing them out so that no servants feel ashamed. I'm just like, yeah, that's totally, that's totally the reason why he's doing that. But also interesting that for some reason he's on his tiptoes, other than the fact that he wants to look taller than he is. Right, he's just over here like towering over her and shit. She makes note that Lihaku looks like a big doggo. Perhaps he will eventually. We saw the way that Lihaku looks at Maomao. right? He's just like, whoa, look at the way she eats food. Right? You know, could be a little competitor to Jinshi. And also I love that when Yinhua and the other lady in waiting are just like, oh, what did you get? And Mama's just like, oh, I just got a participation award. Yeah, that's... I mean, you know what? It could be true. Let's go with Maomao's idea. It's just a participation award. And then we've got Lihua coming in with all her lady-in-waiting who look very concerned. They're just like, why are we walking over here? Obviously, she's very appreciative of Maomao for saving her life, so she gives Maomao her own pin as well. Which, you know what, kind of crosses out the idea of, like, it's romance, but honestly, it's still... What I was talking about in the last episode, where it kind of feels like giving hairpin kind of marks that person as your own, right? Like, I want to take a piece of this person, or I want to take a piece of me and put it on this person, so then everybody else can see and know who this person belongs to, or pieces of them. It's like the stock market. We've got... Why again, I'm still not having a time not remembering her name. Guyan, is that what it is? Guyan. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Guyon's just over here like, yeah, Lady Gokuyo's not gonna like this. She leaves you for just a few moments and then suddenly you get like 2 more hairpins. Goddamn, dude. Goddamn. Alright, and I've got one more thing in particular before I go and actually talk about LISHU, is the idea that Maomao, I think I've kind of said it a little bit, the idea that Maomao could perhaps be emotionally detached, especially when it comes to her own situation. We see that she can get emotional, she can get angry, right? She can get passionate for the things that's around her, whether it's herbology, right? Apothecary, poison, and then the idea of people being careless and like mistreating other people, being careless and like potentially causing death to another person, right? That whole spiel she gets very passionate and she can get angry and upset about. But when it comes to her own person, she doesn't really feel that effect, right? She doesn't really feel it for herself. So when you get to see Lady Gokuyo's lady-in-waiting, they look at her and they come up with this whole entire story. Hold on, let's see. Not only did she grow up in poverty, her distrust of men is strong enough to make her ruin her own face. She endured 2 months of awful bullying at the Crystal Pavilion, yet she won't complain at all and looks after us. It's only natural that the benevolent Master Jinshi looks after her, which is a delusion, as Maomao says, but it kind of feels like there could be some grain of truth, just a little bit, not that Maomao lives in poverty. We kind of saw that she lived in a, perhaps, way that she feels is a relatively comfortable life, right? Being an apothecary, looking after her father, working at the brothels, not working at, but working with the brothels for like medications and stuff, and, you know, befriending these ladies at the brothels. She finds that to be a, perhaps, well, I'm just assuming, to be a comfortable life, because, I mean, we don't really hear her complain too much or at all about it, but these ladies, right, looking from an outside perspective, could probably see that as like a sort of poverty. Also, like them saying like, oh, her mistrust in men is strong enough to make her ruin her own face, which Mao doesn't see it like that, right? She only sees it as a way of protecting herself of other men. But like, again, when you're looking at it on an outside perspective, you can kind of see the way that they are able to interpret this. And also with the way that Gokuyo's lady-in-waiting first hear about her and they see like the bandages on her arm, and even though she kind of did it to herself, they have a lot of empathy on her. And then knowing that she had been kidnapped and like now she has to be like the food taster and everything, right? They feel really bad for her. And now a lot of those stuff you can kind of see that Maomao doesn't really give a shit about, because, well, first of all, she loves poison and she has built up tolerance for it, and so doesn't really affect her as much, and she likes the poison, right? She actually wants to do it, so that's not really particularly the point where I feel like she's emotionally detached from. It's really more of just that's just her passion, and that's what she likes, and that's that's very different from the norms. But the whole kidnapping part, and then after Maomao eats the poison, and she's over here thinking about like, oh man, if that poison had gone through my veins, it would have been pretty fucking good. But we have Jinshi who comes in, and he immediately grabs her and he takes her to the infirmary, and he's not taking any of her antics. He's not being jovial or joking about it. He takes it very seriously. Kind of like how in the last episode where she describes like, yeah, well, I put up these makeups because it's to uglify myself, and so I don't get attacked by sexually unsatisfied men who came out of the brothels. And she just kind of says that without a care in the world, while Jinshi is just like, that's awful. And he apologizes to her, right, for not being able to be there to police the people who sold her to this place, right, the kidnappers who sold her. And, you know, Mao's just like, well, it's not your fault, which is true. But anyways, yeah, to this whole point of like, she potentially could die from the poison because Jinshi has saw the minister who was an idiot and was just like, are you sure this is really poison? He just fucking dies. Or just gets really sick, whichever one, you know? But he sees the devastation of the poison, and then here is Maomao, who's just like, can you give me more of that soup, please? From the way that perhaps Jinshi sees it, he could feel like she, if, you know, the term even is there during these times, but the way that he sees it, right, it could be that Maomao is a little bit emotionally detached from herself, and, you know, she cares much more about the situation around her, and that could point it to a lot of people who feel emotionally detached, and they, where like, well, I was gonna say they, but, you know, it's, I have a bit of an issue with being emotionally detached, especially for the people around me. I've grown to be better at it, but when it comes to like anime and stuff, right, I feel like I am able to feel empathy and be able to try to understand the people in the anime and how they operate, and, you know, try to look at it at a wider scope. But when it comes to the people around me, or when it comes to the real world, right, and if I hear somebody who is having a bad day or whatever, or something bad happened to their family, I just don't really feel anything about it. And then if I were to talk about really bad things about myself or whatever, right, I'll joke about it and I'll just laugh it off, you know, like it's just a shrug off my shoulder, all this trauma or whatever. And it comes off as like, I don't really care much about myself. But then at the same time, the way that I had an issue was that I was able to apply that empathy that I would feel for characters on screen. I would have a hard time applying that onto the people, the real people around me, because I'm just like, ooh. Right, because it's something that feels like it's close to me and it potentially could affect me, and that makes me feel uncomfortable. Not saying that this is how Maomao feels. Obviously, people feel very different when it comes to being detached from themselves. But that's just how I feel, and it was making me think about it. You know, like if that doesn't really come into your mind, right? Maomao could just be somebody who is outside of the norm, and she is making all these decisions that normal people would see and just be like, whoa, this is a little, you know, this is a little weird, and it could just be, you know, fitting into the whole comedic haha moments. But at the same time, when you really see the way that Maomao talks, and, you know, she explains some stuff, but, like, she doesn't really all that attach to her own situation. I mean, you could see it in when she got fucking kidnapped, right? And she's just like, oh, I wonder how my dad's gonna take care of himself. She doesn't think about herself and her own situation, and then she gets into this whole, she gets put into the rear palace and she just starts working, and she's just like, whatever. So I just thought that was interesting, and we are finally going to talk about LISHU. We've got LISHU, who's giving a little attitude. You know, she got a little pouty face and all that. Right, she does a little as she walks away. Maomao makes note that she's wearing a dark pink when she should be wearing a white because it would fit her a whole lot more. But the deep pink, the dark pink is very close to Gokuyo's color, which is red, right? Which is like reddish pink. That's the way that I feel for Gokuyo's color. It's a little bit more on the red side, but it's definitely leaning towards the shades of pink as well. With LISHU wearing this dark pink, she kind of goes and thinks about like, yeah, that's it essentially competes with Gokuyo's color, and she's just like, does LISHU know how to read the room? Which, you know, she's 14, so and she was originally a concubine at 9, so like, I don't know what kind of education she's been giving. And, you know, if you're a kid and you're kind of in this situation where you know that your whole job is to give birth to the emperor, I mean, that she would know. That's the reason why she's here as a consort. It fucks up a child. And whether that forces them to mature a whole lot faster or it forces them to regress even more than which is a child regressing into even more of a child. I don't even know if that's possible. But it could be, I suppose. But as we see with the beginning of LISHU's lady-in-waiting, just gossiping about her, right? That she has, she has no sense of decency. Which, again, she's 14. Not to say that, like, her age is just, like, is to make up for, like, a whole excuse. But, like, you know what? Well, whatever. So she has no sense of decency, and that she's so picky with her food. And they go and they say, it's not like it's going to kill her or anything, which leads up to the whole fishy business. But it also makes me think about the dark pink color again, right? Whether LISHU could read the room or not. And it kind of makes me wonder if, like, did she actually pick out this outfit, or did the lady-in-waiting somehow persuaded her to wear this outfit, you know? Because it kind of seems like they just want to embarrass her, right? They want to do a little prank on her, you know? It's just a prank, bro. Whether that's the case or not, who knows, right? Who knows? And then, as we learn during the food tasting, the main lady-in-waiting, the poisoner lady is the food tasting lady decided to swap the dishes because she wanted to. I wrote punish ? And then I wrote prank in all caps ? Right? It's just a prank, bro. Embarrass her or humiliate her. Technically, they want to humiliate her. And LISHU, you know, even though she can't eat fish, she has to do it in front of the emperor because, well, you know, you don't want to not eat food. You don't want to be picky in front of the emperor and all that. This is when we find out that there's poison in the soup, but as we learn later, towards the end, I mean, that the poison is most likely intended for LISHU, but because LISHU's lady-in-waiting swapped the food with Gokuyo's, it got to Maomao instead, right? Which is fucking lucky, because good thing that Maomao builds up the defense that she wasn't all that affected by it. And also, she didn't swallow, so. After that whole spiel, Maomao calls LISHU and her lady-in-waiting in, and we find that LISHU is allergic to fish, but as the way that Maomao describes it, it is a cannot eat. Right? It's not that she doesn't want to eat, it's she cannot eat it. It causes her to get a big rash, and just the way that she describes it, right? The idea of allergies hasn't really made it yet, right? Hasn't really come to terms yet. It's just, well, we can eat just about everything, and it's not, and it goes back again to the beginning where it's not like it's going to kill her or anything. And we've got Maomao who gets a tiny little upset at the idea of, like, hey, this woman over here behind LISHU, I know you fucking swapped the dishes. You're being a little prankster, you. You know that this whole thing that you're fucking doing, right? It's not that because she's a picky eater. It's because she literally cannot eat it, and because she is the way that she is. She doesn't want to talk about her weaknesses, especially if she knows that her own lady-in-waitings do not like her, right? That they hold unfavorable views of her. Of course, she's not going to reveal her weakness to these people, albeit she kind of already is, and that's why they're fucking feeding her the fish. But she's not willing to talk about it because, well, it could be that she's ashamed by it. And of course, again, she doesn't want to put even more power onto these lady-in-waiting. Obviously, big assumptions here. But as Maomao mentioned, she is allergic to buckwheat and it makes her throat swell. And it gets really hard for her to breathe. And those are deadly allergies to this food that she's eating, right? Buckwheat. And this could possibly kill her if she eats any more and if she doesn't get help for it. And, allergies, I don't think you can build up resistance towards allergies, but just in case, I'm gonna go search it up. I know that you can outgrow allergies, and you can also grow into allergies, which just absolutely fucking sucks. It's just like you've never been allergic to like a certain food or a certain thing, and suddenly your body is just like, but what if you are now? And it's just like, what the fuck? And sometimes you won't even know until you fucking eat like the food that you thought that you could normally eat, and then suddenly it just hits you. I know you can build resistance to like being lactose intolerant and all that, but let's see. Can exposure cure allergies? Let's see. How to build immunity to seasonal allergies? Well, those are seasonal allergies. Can we produce true tolerance in patients with allergies? It is possible to acquire tolerance. Hold on, let me actually go, instead of just reading it straight off of the front page of Google. Immunotherapy. Oh, immunotherapy is exposing a person to an allergen to alter the immune system so the persons no longer respond to the allergy in an adverse way. By training your body to accept an allergen, it is possible to develop a tolerance to avoid adverse reactions. A great example is an allergy to pet dander. Expert says that having pets in your home from an early age reduces your risk from having asthma or other pet dander allergies later on in life. Over time, exposure to the bacteria and allergens from dog will improve your immune system. Okay, so you can build up allergies. All right. Unless it's like a very fucking deadly allergy, you just have like one peanut or something, and then you end up in the hospital, right? If that's like the sort of allergy reaction that you get, it's probably let's not touch it all anymore. Also, by the way that Maomao talks about this, she's not ashamed to talk about like bodily things. She asked LISHU, it's just like, hey, you need some laxative? Get it out of your system as quick as possible. And LISHU's just he'll be like, oh my god, that's so embarrassing, you're talking about poop. And it kind of sucks that like when it comes to these sort of things, a lot of people feel ashamed, so they don't talk to their doctors about it because they don't want to expose their bodily secrets to their doctors, but the doctors will be like, please fucking tell me about it. I need to know. So I thought it was very nice too. I mean, Maomao, when she was when she saw the three lady-in-waiting for Kokuyo eating her chocolate, and she just like pulls up their dress and she's just like, oh, they didn't go all the way, so it's totally fine. Right? She doesn't really care. And also she grew up near a brothel, and she gets to talk to a lot of ladies who work in the brothel, so of course she was exposed to this at a very young age, so she's kind of like, whatever, right? Anyways, as we mentioned, the poison was intended for LISHU, and we still don't know who the poisoner is. The killer is still on the loose. Oh no! And the way that they kind of make it kind of sounds like the obvious choice. It's probably Adol, or at least people working under her. Maybe she might not realize it, and that some people are working under her, and they're taking the initiative and all that. Or maybe she does know and she's planning this whole time. But she could just be a red herring, and she might not be the culprit this whole time, and it could just be somebody who is, I mean, it's just that in terms of elimination, right? If they're only aiming for one of the consort and not all of the consort. So it's just like, all right, who has beef with LISHU in particular? Well, the only person that we saw who kind of have beef in terms of the lady-in-waiting is Adol's lady-in-waiting. They were having a little bit of beef. They don't get along with each other. They used to be mother and daughter-in-laws. It's just like, oh. And also, if we do, process of elimination and all that, unless LISHU's lady-in-waiting were actually playing out this whole time and the other lady who was doing the poison tasting doesn't realize it, we can cross out LISHU's side. Or maybe we can still keep her, who knows. But we can cross out LISHU, we can cross out Gokuyo, unless she is some fucking mastermind this whole time. But that's impossible. She's perfect. And we can cross out Lihua as well, because she's also perfect. The only one left is Adu. But again, it could not be her, and it could just be... It was Lihaku this whole time. Just point fingers at everyone. Can't trust anybody. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this mystery continues and how we're going to, we also have not seen Ado talk at all, so we still have to get a scene with her. So that'll be interesting. And then we've got to see what I assume we'll be seeing more of Lihaku. Hopefully, maybe, right? It seems like he kind of might be gaining some interest with her. He was just kind of giving out pins wherever, but then he saw her and he's just like, And, okay, I had this thought last episode, but I forgot to mention it. But, like, if y'all are planning on poisoning people, alright, I'm not giving advice to the poisoners here in this series or anything, but... Maybe you should start to learn how to make a slow-acting poison, alright? You've got these food tasters who are just out here eating food, and then the poison just hits them immediately, and it's just like, okay, well, what's the point? Are you just trying to get rid of the food tasters? Do you guys just hate the food tasters or something? If it's a slow-acting poison, if it takes 12 hours, if it takes 24 hours, 24 hours would be much better. If it takes 24 hours to activate, the food taster could eat it, and she'll be like, oh yeah, that's totally fine. And then the consort will eat it, and then she dies 24 hours later. Again, I'm not giving advice to the poisoners in this series, but... Maybe you should start innovating, especially they got these food tasters, and it seems like, they're not really gonna run out of supplies of food tasters. And also, Gokuyo got such a great food taster on her side, right? It's literally a woman, a lady who likes poison and has built up tolerance to poison, so... That reminds me, Maomao initially thought that she probably wouldn't make a good poison taster or food taster because she's immune to the poison. But here she is, tasting it. She feels the poison. She's just like, yeah, this is poison, alright. Imagine if she doesn't feel and she just gives it to Kokuya. Whoops. But... that's all I have to say. Thank you guys for sticking around. If I have anything else to say, I will write it in the description down below. And that's it.